Hi, I'm Dean Rod, and thank you for clicking on this video. Today, we'll talk about the reality, or my reality, about living with high blood pressure. Did you know that high blood pressure is a real condition, and it affects 1.28 billion people around the world, and I am one of them? So, I've been diagnosed with high blood pressure for about it's going to be my 10th year in 2025, and I'd like to talk about the realities, the facts on how I'm living with high blood pressure. And what is high blood pressure actually? Well, high blood pressure is the measurement of your heart beat while it is moving and while it is at rest. So normally when people measure their blood pressure, they are given two numbers. The first number is called the systolic, and this measures your blood pressure when your heart contracts. Then the second number, the diastolic, measures your heart pressure or your blood pressure when the heart is at rest. Now, everybody says the normal is 120/80. Yeah, I think that's about the normal, right? But what is the threshold? What is the measurement of high blood pressure? Well, right now, the World Health Organization, as of 2024, lists anything above 140/80 as hypertension or high blood pressure. Now, what is my high blood pressure today, 10 years after being diagnosed? Well, I can make it go as low as 110/70 or 120/80 when I'm full at rest, taking my meds. But sometimes after a hard day, I measure during work or without resting, it can go as high as 140/150/80. And let me tell you the first reality of living with high blood pressure. All right. The first reality of living with high blood pressure, it's the acceptance that it is a lifelong condition. Very rare that anybody gets cured of high blood pressure, but it does happen. If you lose weight, you gain, be more active, exercise more. It does happen, and I've had several friends and relatives who've had high blood pressure plus heart attacks, and now they're athletes. They're running marathons or half marathons. So it does go down. It does get cured. How did I get high blood pressure? Well, about 10 years ago, I worked for a Bitcoin company. Oh, I should have had my salary paid in Bitcoin. At that time, it was $200 per Bitcoin. Sadly. Anyway, so what happened was since I'm a lawyer, I had my client duties in the morning, and I'm also a teacher, so I teach law school in the afternoon. And so I had to move from the office to the school, which is about maybe 45 to an hour away by car. And of course, it was during the lunch break, so the only way for me to sneak in or to have lunch was the drive-through. And for a couple of months, I would say 3 months, I would have drive-through every other day. And of course, I need energy for teaching, so I had to get the upsize of the whatever meal I was getting. And that happened for a few months, and then suddenly I felt some chest pain, I get tired easily, so I had this I had this mini blood pressure machine that you wrap around your wrist, and when the first number came up, it was over 200. So I got scared, I was nervous, and so I called up my friend who was a cardiologist, and we set an appointment, and he took my blood pressure, took my history, and said, I definitely have hypertension, because I was basically at rest in his office, and it went up to 170/90. So he gave me medicine, and that was in 2015, and I'm still technically have hypertension. Another reason why I do have high blood pressure was I had high cholesterol after the blood tests. So aside from giving me a blood pressure medicine, my friend cardiologist gave me medicine to bring down my cholesterol. So I had two things, high cholesterol and high blood pressure or hypertension. The second reality or second fact that you have to accept living with high blood pressure is that you will have limited activity, only in the beginning. Because once you have the onset, or once you feel that the high blood pressure is there, you'll have shortness of breath, probably. You get tired easily, and you feel lethargic. And sometimes you might have some chest pains. Well, that's kind of hard, but when you have chest pains, please see a doctor. So, in that sense, that limited activity, because of the high blood pressure, made me have a slower life, so to speak. But my doctor said, no, no, you gotta do more. You gotta exercise more. You gotta be more active. So I did. So I went back to cycling. I used to be a cyclist, and I did a lot of walking. And so he said, naturally, when you exercise, when you be more active, your blood pressure does go up. For a normal person, it'll go up to 140 or 150, but that's not technically high blood pressure, because what's important is that you measure the blood pressure when you're at rest or you're trying to rest. That's when you really see if you have high blood pressure. So what happens there is that when I exercise and I cool down maybe an hour later, my blood pressure does go down after exercising, because my doctor said, and of course I read about it also, I do research, that exercising actually expands your blood vessels. And when blood vessels expand because they need more blood, they need more oxygen, the blood pressure goes down. It's just like a hose, or just like a bottleneck, if you will. You widen the bottleneck, the pressure is lessened. Now, the third factor, the third reality of living with high blood pressure, hypertension, is maintenance medicine. Now, that's the thing you have to accept. Now, depending on what country you live in, medicine could be expensive, medicine could be cheap, or medicine could be subsidized depending on your country's healthcare system or your HMO. Well, for me, I'm taking now 3 types of maintenance meds. One is to loosen, so to speak, my blood vessels. And I have another one of course, I've been told another one for cholesterol. Right now, my cholesterol has good numbers since about 4 years now. So I'm keeping my total cholesterol and my bad cholesterol down. Now, the third medicine I've been taking this last year, so that'll be my 9th year of having high pressure, was blood thinners. I guess I'm taking that as a precaution, as a preventive for strokes or heart attacks, because at this point, my age and my weight, there could be a danger of it. So that's why my doctor already prescribed me blood thinners. Now, depending what I spend about, let's say, about $60 a month for my medicine. So that's in the Philippines, and that's not subsidized. So yes, in the Philippines, pharmaceuticals, I don't want to say drugs, but medicine is far cheaper than in the Western countries. So, one way to counter that is maybe your HMO has some subsidized, they subsidize for maintenance meds, or maybe you have a doctor friend who can give you samples of free medicine. So you can do that. So again, I have to take that. So I take half my medicine, or the two of my medicine I take in the morning and one I take at night. So I have to take those daily. Have I missed one? Oh, of course, definitely. But I make sure that I don't miss more than 2 or 3 days. And of course, I always have to have spare. So I have one in the house, I have one in the office, and one in my, office bag. So I do have to have medicine all the time. So in case I forget it to drink at home before I leave, I can take it in the office. So again, that's the reality of living with high blood pressure, having maintenance medicines. It's not all that bad. I actually have a chat group with my old friends, and we titled the chat group Maintenance Boys. we have to accept it. Now, the fourth factor, the fourth reality of living with high blood pressure or hypertension is the blood pressure machine. Now, you have to have one. I'm sure I bought one in my local drugstore in the U.S. I did buy when I went there for vacation. I did buy one from Costco. So there are blood pressure machines, and they're either battery operated or they're electric. So you need to have one, and you need to measure your blood pressure several times a day. You don't have to record it. I'm sure maybe in the beginning when you're first diagnosed, you're very aware of it. But it's kind of my 10th year now, so I know when my blood pressure will be high or will be low. And so my doctor told me that when you measure your heartbeat at the very beginning, you sit down and you strap on that that you might call it, that air belt, or what do you call it? The stress, the pressure, the thought of having your blood pressure measured is actually going to raise your blood pressure up a couple of points. My doctor said that is going to happen. So once you take one technique she told me was when you strap on the thing, and before you press start, give yourself a couple of minutes to relax, to slow down, so to speak, slow down your heartbeat. I would do deep breathing exercises for about a minute or so, or I would count and deliberately slow my breath, taking in more air and letting out the same amount. So I'm letting more oxygen into my blood. Letting oxygen into your blood, into your lungs, actually expands your blood vessels. And so I make the first measurement. Now the first measurement, if it's good, then I have good blood pressure. But sometimes it's in the middle of the day, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or even if you just finished your lunch or dinner, it will set a high measure. It'll give you high numbers, maybe 140 or 150, because your body is working. Or on the reverse, it's actually slowing down, but from a high state. So what you want to do is you can measure twice. Your first measurement, let's say, it'll give you 140 or 150. What you want to do is, again, like what I said before, you got to slow down, take deep, slow breaths, calm yourself, think good thoughts, think calming thoughts, not happy thoughts that could get you excited. So you make a second measurement. If it goes down 5 or 4 points, let's say from 150 it goes down to 145, that's a good sign. When it goes down, it's actually a good sign, my doctor said. Of course, it'll be high because you already have high blood pressure. You already have hypertension. So you want to see a lowering number in the second or third measurement. I actually measure or set or get through the machine. I get it 3 or 4 times to make sure that if I keep resting and slowing down, does it really go down to the 120 and 80? And it does. And that also gives me some confidence, some encouragement to saying, yes, I have high blood pressure, but I can deal with it and I know how to handle my body. So again, you need to have not high blood pressure machine. You need to have a blood pressure machine. All right, we are to the fifth most important, most sad reality of living with high blood pressure. No more roller coasters. Oh, I used to love roller coasters. No, I still love roller coasters, but now I can't ride them. I don't want to spark my heart. I don't want to jumpstart my heart. The last roller coaster I rode was this. I don't know what the name, I totally forgot the name, but it was in Magic Mountain in Southern California, and it would twist as it goes down the roller coaster. And that was my last, because that was 2015 in the summer, and then I was diagnosed in the fall or autumn. So that was my last, and right now, when I go with my family to theme parks, I just watch them when they ride the coasters. So I'm stuck with either the Dumbo ride or the Peter Pan ride. For theme parks, but that's okay. I mean, at my age, I'm over 50. They expect to ride roller coasters. So that's the sad part. But hey, you can still have fun in theme parks with your family. It's about being together with the family. Of course, if you go alone in a theme park, that's really sad. So, and if you have high blood pressure, what else would you do? So the sad part of it, yes, no more roller coasters. But hey, if you're with young kids or if you have grandchildren, hey, you ride with the kiddie rides, and that's not so bad. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my story, my life story of how I'm living with high blood pressure. I make more videos like this, how the Generation X lives in 2020s. 2020s, is that right? Anyway, so if you can, please support me. Give a like and subscribe to the channel so I can be encouraged, help my channel grow, so I can make more videos like this. Peace, everybody. Hi, please do me a favor and smash that like button. It'll help me a lot and it will trigger the YouTube algorithm. Now, if you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't, my dog will eat this exam booklet and that student has to repeat his final exam again.